guys want to talk about today? I was thinking about going over some of my picks and, like, because I only got 7 points last week.
Maybe what was the Thursday night game? That was the Washington game.
Washington and Giants.
Yeah, that
which was closer than it should have been. But then let's not mince words. The only reason it's closer than it should have been is that if they had a quality QB like Fitzmagic, because Fitzmagic, if he was able to play, it would have been a different game.
But we talked about that too.
Yeah, we did. So Tyler Heineke, right, is the guy that was, and of course, yeah, I think we didn't even do the intro, but whatever.
And like you say, is he the heir apparent? No, he's not.
No. Well, no, but the sad thing is that they threw him in. He didn't do a bad job against the Chargers, but the Chargers came back and beat them.
Giants.
Yeah, in the lane. And then of course the Giants had it, and then all of a sudden Washington came out of nowhere. I think it was because of a bad call too. I heard
it was a bad call, and then like they got the reprieve for the kick.
So here we go. Yeah. It's like Washington has the elements of a good football team. They're missing a few key points or key elements like the QB, a solid QB. They're missing maybe a couple of receivers. I think the running game is okay.
Yeah, the running game is okay. The running game is fine.
And their defense is awesome. Solid. So once they address some of those, because like I said, you put Fitzmagic in there, even with the receivers they have, I think they're going to be competitive in their own division. Right now, with the way they're playing, I mean, you shouldn't have won that game on Thursday night. You got lucky, and
that's literally saying that would have been an 0-2 start.
So right now, I mean, and of course, the funny thing is that because of that win against Week 1, and nothing against the Chargers, I think that giving them a 3.5 point spread favored against Dallas is a mistake. Dallas's offense is high octane, even with the missing components. Like I think Gallup's out with an injury, right?
And Zeke is not performing.
Well,
Zeke got shut. You got to go game by game.
Zeke got shut down. Yeah, Zeke got shut down by a solid Tampa Bay defense, and even then they weren't as consistent as they normally were.
In that game, and even that game was too close.
And I mean, they shut him down, but that's because once they got behind, they had to abandon the run game to stay, point for point with Tampa Bay, which surprisingly they pulled it off. That's why I'm confused. I mean, the only thing I can think of is because of that Week 1 win, their first home opener, home field advantage. I just, other than that, I don't see a reason why you would favor Dallas over Chargers. I mean, I like Justin Herbert. I like what the Chargers have done. But do either one of you think that they have what it takes to overcome?
Are you talking about Chargers or Dallas?
Chargers. They're favored 3.5 points over Dallas right now.
I don't think they can keep up point for point with Dallas on offense.
I don't think so either. But with the way Dallas's defense has been playing,
and that's the last.
That's the other side of that story.
But the only reason I can see them making a 3-point favor is because the Chargers has better coaching,
and they
don't fall apart. They're not falling apart as quickly as Dallas does,
and that's true. But let me take a look and see what the most recent line is. I was looking at it yesterday.
But I'm gonna go with. I can understand you saying a 3-point favorite.
It's a 3. They dropped a half point, so it's 3 points right now.
I can understand them saying a 3-point favorite because all Dallas's games are either won or lost by 3 points. All last season, not last season, but the season before that. With Dak Prescott there, you're gonna get points.
Yeah, and right now, if nobody took advantage of that 3.5, and see, even with the 3.5, I would take the points with Dallas because, like you said, a lot of their losses were by 3 points, and I actually like them to win this game. What's the money line right now? Money line right now on Dallas is plus 140. 40. Yeah, that's not bad. 40% on your return.
Yep. So, with that being said,
you got it.
I'm sitting here somewhere.
But yeah, so that was the one thing that the Thursday night game reminded me, because a lot of people, they always call Week 2 when it comes to the sport betting community overreaction weekend, and this is definitely it. When you take a look at some of these teams now, looking down the lineup, I cannot really find a single underdog other than Dallas that has a really solid position of potential winning, except for maybe Ravens at home, because Kansas City kind of almost crapped the bed against Cleveland. Well, watch right. Let me finish my logic here, and you guys can correct me where I'm wrong. Cleveland went toe to toe with Cincinnati or with Kansas City, and almost pulled off the win.
And then,
Almost.
then Baltimore and the Raiders.
And then
Baltimore and the Raiders.
Baltimore and Raiders, and the Raiders aren't expected to do anything this year. But this is a home game for Baltimore. Baltimore's known to play well at home. I think that
coming off that tough loss, they got a chip on their shoulder.
and think about it. They've never been able to beat Mahomes, and over the last few years, so they're due.
Well, the thing with Kansas City and the Cleveland game is Cleveland has a solid defense. We're talking about you got edge rushers, you got Garrett and Clowney on the opposite side closing in, so that pass rush is getting there. And even if the pass rush didn't get there in the backfield, you got Denzel Ward, I believe his name is Harrison. You got other people in the backfield that protects the back end of it. So
I see what you're saying.
It was a tougher game, tougher
And
defense.
if you take a look at the defense of the
Baltimore,
Raiders,
you
Raiders
can expose
really
them.
don't
Yeah,
have that.
But like I said, Cleveland exposed a lot of flaws in Kansas City.
True.
And if other teams don't pick up on that,
Well,
then it's going to be
it
the
was
same.
exposed.
Okay,
it
so-
was exposed
so
during
here-
the Super Bowl
here-
because
yeah.
if I got pressure on you and I got the edge on you, I'm making you go out the pocket and do
And
all
there
this
was
stuff.
and there was definitely some coverage issues, right? And that could definitely play into Derek Carr's
Derek Carr.
favor because he's a really good QB.
Well, he's for the Raiders.
Actually, definitely one of
but
probably one of the most underrated
But
QBs I think in the league right now.
When you're comparing Cleveland versus Mahomes,
Do you need a drink?
no. When you're comparing the Browns and the Chiefs game versus the Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens game, I saw similarities in both games where the quarterbacks that these so-called dynamic quarterbacks were exposed, their flaws were exposed.
Yeah.
Mahomes got lucky at the end of the game when Tyreek Hill. I mean, he just threw a duck out there, and Tyreek Hill made the right adjustment. But that's a luck
But
play.
I don't know if I want to say luck because take a look. A lot of these QBs they live and die by the receivers. I mean, if you don't have a receiver that makes plays on the ball, that's what made DeAndre Hopkins. And Andre Johnson so good.
Well, Andre Johnson
and those are just two off the top of my head.
And Andre Johnson would just go over the top of everybody. And
Vincent
Hopkins
Jackson
just,
back in the days with the
Jackson,
Chargers.
right.
What was the one? What was the big one over for Carolina?
Steve
Cam,
we were
Steve
talking about
Senior,
Stevie
Smith Senior, right?
Yeah.
And then of course there was another one too that I can't think of.
If you want to go that route,
I mean,
you go way back to
there's
Art Monk and all them guys.
well, yeah.
and
I mean, there's a lot of
Redskins.
them. But if you take a look, good receivers make plays.
Yeah, but what I was saying, like the making the play when it's a perfect throw and you got to go over somebody and like Tyreek Hill normally does. But when your quarterback is in trouble and he throws a duck out there and it's a wobbly pass, it's short, it's and that's why I said
Peyton Manning in his last year.
But that's why I said like.
It didn't even get to you.
But Baltimore. But when you go to the Raiders and the Ravens game, when you look back at that game, you're looking at this was a slugfest. I mean, nobody was clear out front running away with it at any point.
No. Baltimore was up 14.
They were up 20. I think it was 21-7.
They were up 14
yeah.
points. The only reason the Raiders got back into the game is because Baltimore has problems, just like other teams we know, closing out a game.
Yeah.
They let their opponents come back because they take their foot off the gas. Like in the last two quarters, you can see Lamar Jackson just either
It's like he was coasting.
So
he was
okay.
closing,
So
but
you
he was
think it's
holding
more of
the
a
ball.
garbage points kind of an era thing, right? Where they gave it up because it really didn't mean
and
anything.
then it
Right.
But then it wound up
and
costing you
so
the
then
game
question:
when you go into
Is that
the
what
three
happened?
pick.
Is that what happened with Detroit last week?
Wow, that's a good one.
Detroit and Rams.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. No, I think San
Because
Francisco just
if you remember right, San Francisco had a stranglehold in that game going late, and then all of a sudden
Detroit
came back and I mean what
They
should have
didn't
been
win, but
an easy 10-point game.
Yeah.
They got it.
My
within
philosophy on if you have a 30-something point lead or you have a 15, 20-point lead and then all of a sudden you lose it, it's because you came up off the gas.
Yeah.
Whatever you were doing,
So
you
that
stopped
so
doing it.
is that players Or is that coaching?
That's all around.
That's
all
coaching.
around.
That's because the coach is calling plays from the sideline.
Right, but the coach can call a play. If I'm the player on the field and I know, okay, yeah, he's going to do a slant route, but it's only a slant route. I'll give him 5 yards, and I have give my effort on the coverage.
All right, I see what you're saying. So it's going to be kind of like a combination of both.
Right. Right.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because you have to think about it. Super Bowl with the Patriots and Falcons.
But anyway, so
23.
going back to what I was saying, this is like typically overreaction weekend, and you can actually see it with some of these point spreads.
Yeah.
Right.
And not to get into every game because we don't have that kind of time. What matchups would you like me to kind of bring up just to show you the?
Okay.
Because I know you got to have some on your mind.
Okay, when you go back to the Jacksonville Texan game, right? Well, the Texans dominated the whole game, but then at the end, he got his points at the end.
Yeah.
Now the Texans have to play the Browns.
Yep.
That's a different defense. That's a different offense.
Yep.
The point spread on that one would be
right now Cleveland's favored 13 points, which is a lot of points.
Yeah, and I don't think I think the Texans are. Like I said, Jacksonville was Jacksonville. It's the second week of the game, second week of football. You're playing a more solid together team. I'm looking at Texans to lose probably even worse than 13 points.
I honestly, and this is my take with this. I like Houston. I would like to see them build off of that win from last week. However, Tyrod Taylor is not a Mahomes. He's not going to be able to get you those points down the field like Mahomes did. And so when I take a look at this game, I think they could potentially keep it close. I like the 13 points, but I would actually feel better putting this in with a teaser, getting them at like 20 and a half, or maybe even doing a 10-point teaser with 3 teams and getting that, that would put it at 23. So, because think about it, if they've got that kind of a lead going into the fourth quarter, they're going to give up some garbage points, and I don't think they're going to win by that. And then, if you think the Texans have what it makes, my questions are around Tyrod Taylor. Is he going to be able to make the plays down the field? If you think that he's capable of making some plays down the field against this defense, which as we just covered, they've got Jadeveon Clowney and Garrett, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's that's not going to be an easy one. So I'm okay with taking the 13 points with the spread for Houston. I would leave that money line alone.
He's not Houdini.
No, he's not.
He's not.
And honestly, we could easily. Outside of a hit in the mouth by Houston and getting an early score to get the lead, I don't see that. They could lose this by 14.
Yeah.
So that I like that 13-point spread, but like I said, those garbage points in fourth quarter could mean a win on the point spread for Texans.
I will take it too, because who's going to stop the run on the Texans defense? The Texans defense always had a problem with the run.
So you would actually take the 13.
He would take the 30. He said he would take the
on
30.
Cleveland's side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
So you think that Cleveland's going to cover?
It's going to be 13 more. It's going to be.
It's going to be more than 13.
It's going to be more than 13 points.
You think it's 21?
Because there's
not 21. I don't think it'd be 21. I think it'd
14
be
to
like one
17?
of 31, 17 games.
I'm not even going to give him 17 points.
Anyway,
You're not going to give him 17 points.
Because you have to think about it. Outside of Brandon Cooks, who else is on there?
Well, Nico Collins coming out of college, he is pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
like I said, with the same thing with Trevor Lawrence, it's still a rookie, and you went against a suspect defense anyway.
yep.
Right, but this defense is not suspect. There's no real flaws in this defense. There's no real flaws. If it is a flaw, it's because the scheme was wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. They got key players in key positions. Who on the Texans offense is going to fool that defense? That's what I'm saying.
And you still got David Johnson running the ball.
But my whole point is this: if you had Deshaun Watson, then no, they're not meeting that 14. They're not meeting that 14 points because Deshaun Watson knows how to get into the end zone. I will get, but you're not even playing him.
Nope.
So why?
All right. So what's another matchup other than the Texans you would like to?
Who do we have? Dallas is going against the Chargers, right?
Dallas.
Well, we were just covering the Chargers,
Yeah.
and like I said, I think Dallas being the underdog in this one, I think that's where you put your money. I would easily take. I would definitely take the 3.5. Right now it's at 3. I would even consider putting the money line.
Yeah.
You got
plus 140. But we already covered that.
We got the Rams and the Colts, and everybody's saying the Rams are going to dominate the Colts.
I believe that's going to happen too.
So it's probably be a blowout.
Believe that's going to happen also.
Probably be a blowout.
Let me
And
see. You think blowout for the Rams?
That's what they're saying is blowout. I'm not going to say a blowout. I'll say it's a good game because the Colts have a top line, So you're not going to sit there and talk about you're going to be blitzing and getting home all day long. I doubt that. With the Colts, I mean, it depends on Carson Wentz.
Well, okay, so let's take a look at what they did last week against Chicago. Okay, now that was in L.A., right?
Yeah.
Chicago wasn't even expected to win or do anything in that game.
Right.
And they started Andy Dalton, and he struggled against a decent defense, which drive me nuts. I'm sitting in a poker game, and I'm hearing a guy constantly berate Andy Dalton and say, "Pull that man. They need to put in Felds." Look, I understand. You think that putting in Felds is going to be like some magical transition, like you sometimes see when you put in a rookie because nobody knows what the rookie's going to do. The problem that I see with that is you put your rookie at risk, and then who you're stuck with.
Carson. I mean,
You're stuck
Andy
with
Dalton.
Randy Dalton anyway.
It's a
Andy
game.
Dalton anyway.
Chicago in Rams, LA Rams, is a game that you were not expected to win at all.
No.
The fact that they kept it close, I was impressed. That Chicago defense is not a slouch. So going into this, going into that Rams against Colts, and of course the Colts got manhandled by Seahawks.
Seahawks, yeah.
And of course, Carson Wentz is going to need some more time to get used to the new setup, the new team. So yeah, I see Rams coming in and dominating. I could use 6-7 points easy, and they're favored 3.5.
But he shouldn't be struggling in his offense. This is the offense he got.
Well, it's new personnel.
It's new personnel.
Oh,
It's
okay.
new. Yeah, the coach he's familiar with.
Yeah, I
but
was gonna say.
he's got to get used to that offensive line. He's got to get used to his receivers. And as we've seen, it takes anywhere from 2 to 4, sometimes as many as 5 weeks to get everything to gel.
That cohesiveness going. And what I'm looking at, like when we talked about this a few shows ago, when you talk about these quarterbacks getting traded to these new teams, and I always said that if you're coming into a new team, you got to learn a new system, and it takes time to, like what we were saying, get cohesiveness with wide receivers. You're supposed to reach out to them early. Have sessions with them even during the offseason. So I'm a new quarterback. You guys, we need to get together and
Start getting the passes, start getting the routes.
And when they don't do, and I don't think that happened.
Yeah.
I don't think it happened.
Because of the pandemic. I mean, there's certain protocols in place that prevent probably too many gatherings for whatever reason, and that started back last year. So
I just think
I don't know.
It says a lot about a quarterback. You saw Matt Stafford come from the Detroit
and go
to the Rams,
Yep.
and perform like he was always been there.
But he's a veteran. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I understand that
Carson Wentz has 6 years in the league, though.
Yeah, Carson went 6 years.
and Matthew Stafford's got twice that.
Oh, okay.
So I understand what you're saying, and in general, I would agree. But the problem is that with Wentz, not only has he been in the league 6 years, he's had to deal with a few different head coaches as well as QB coaches and offensive coordinators during that 6 years. Matthew Stafford has had a little bit more solidarity.
He's more battle tested.
Well, battle tested for one, but he didn't have to do the quick turnovers in personnel and coaching that Wentz had to go through.
One team for most of his career. This is the first time.
He stayed with Carson Wentz. He stayed with Philadelphia till now.
Yeah, but he was on the bench.
But I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the personnel within the team.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Matthew Stafford has not had to deal with the quick turnovers. If you take a look at the longevity that he's had under not only head coaches but the other coaching staff, offensive coordinators, and of course QB coaches and whatnot, they've basically been there longer than anything that's been over in Philly in the last 6 years.
He had the same personnel around him for years versus somebody coming in with.
I mean, he's had good transitions, but he had a lot of the same personnel for the first 4 or 5 years in his career.
Okay,
that's what my point is.
Okay.
So, and Wentz, we saw a complete change in Wentz, right after his offensive, his QB coach moved to the offensive coordinator position for Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, look, he's still a little bit young. And I know 6 years. I get it. He's a veteran. He's gone to the Super Bowl. I just think that it's going to take some time. And even take a look. Rivers was a veteran, and it took him at least 2 to 3 weeks to get kind of solid in that team last year.
Right.
Now, I know that we chalked that up because they didn't have the preseason, but I still think that you have to have that time to get that rapport and that timing down with your personnel.
Like I said, it's the first week. It's the first week. So when we're looking at these games and we're talking about these games, we're talking about like 1 week and you got a win or a loss somewhere. So here's the second week. How do you combat that? So when you're looking at the Rams versus the Colts, you got to be better prepared. I don't think they were prepared for what Seattle threw at them. And that was the issue.
And that was kind of crazy because I mean Seattle's not known. I mean they haven't really had a solid defense. Well, they've had a solid defense, but not a top-notch defense since the Legion of Boom. So, but they did. They came in. They shut down that passing attack. They basically completely controlled the game. I'm actually impressed with Seattle. They're going to go home and they're going to host. That reminds me. Who are they going to host this week? Do we know? Seattle Titans. They're hosting the Titans.
Oh, poor Tennessee.
I know. And Seattle's favored 6.5.
And in that game, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Tennessee. I'm a Derrick Henry fan. I'm not gonna lie about that. But like I said, if you shut Derrick Henry down, that team is not going anywhere. And so if Seattle can do what who they played against last week,
they lost to Arizona. Remember?
If Seattle does what Arizona
didn't you have
does,
money on that with me too? No, it was just Houston.
No, we did. No,
just
it was
Houston. Yeah.
If Seattle does what Arizona did, Tennessee is 0-2. Because
they can.
Now, you're really looking at Tennessee as if you don't stop Henry, you're going to get beat.
I mean, if that defense steps up like they did, and we know what Russell Wilson's going to do with his receivers and the running game. So yeah, I think that it's always hard to win in Seattle. I think that Tennessee are going to go in there and they're going to end up 0-2, which is sad because what's the cliche about starting 0-2 and the chances of the playoffs?
The chances of there's only been 12 teams in the history of the NFL.
We do have an extra game this year, right? So that might not be as
detrimental. Moving back to 0-3, but for Tennessee to start 0-2 this season it says a lot that
and you know who they have.
Like we said, we picked up who they picked.
You know who they have in
Julio and it's still, like Chuck said, it didn't make a difference.
Hey guys, you know who they have in week 3? Tennessee plays Colts.
Well, they won't be 0-3 then. They'll be 1-2 maybe. But this game coming up with Seattle, Tennessee, I need you guys to find ways to get Henry moving. Because that opens up your passing game. If you don't get him moving, you're going to do the same thing he did last week.
And that'll be imperative. If you guys can get that going against Seattle, then that could get you the win.
Yeah.
That's the only way. I don't think Seattle's defense is going to stop Derrick Henry.
No.
You don't think so?
If they can get him going, no, I don't think they can stop him.
So who are you taking in that game? Seattle at home versus Tennessee coming off a loss.
So yeah, it's hard for me to go against Seattle at home.
It really is. I mean, that 6-man, that noise carrying place.
The only reason I'm giving Seattle is because of the connection between DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson, and because over the top, if they're doing over the top plays, I don't see Tennessee keeping up with that.
So we all agree that Tennessee's going to take a loss on this one.
Yeah, I don't like the point spread. I would actually take the points with Indy on that one, or with Tennessee.
What was the point spread? It said
Seattle is favored 6.5, which means they got to win by 7.
I think that's actually doable for them.
Oh yeah,
I actually believe it.
Seattle winning. I mean, especially if they get things rolling and if things go their way,
it'll probably be a 2-touchdown win.
10, 14 points is not all the room possibility.
But when you look, okay, who does Washington plays Thursday?
They just played against the Giants.
And who does Tampa Bay play this week?
Atlanta Falcons, which another atrocious point spread, but primarily because Atlanta couldn't score anything without Julio. Their first game without Julio, they scored 3 points?
Yeah.
Yep.
And look, Tampa Bay is running hot. So I mean, unfortunately, that's a game I'm avoiding. I mean, the only thing I might change my mind on is that the over under, the total point for the game is at 51 points.
I can actually see.
And this could be one of those games. This could be one of those games where Tampa Bay gets 40 by themselves.
Yeah, get 40 by themselves, and they luck up on 12 or 4 field goals in Atlanta. The other team I want to watch is the Saints.
Yes,
I want to actually
Carolina. The reason
talk about that game.
Which one?
The Drew Brees debacle. I mean, not Drew Brees. Aaron Rodgers debacle. I mean, just flat out trash play. And Jameis Winston showed up and showed out. I mean, really showed up and showed out. It's like the opposite. Like the other year when Jameis Winston was throwing in the same amount of interceptions as he was of touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers did the same crap. It's like they flipped the script.
Well, I didn't even see it. So did how many interceptions did he have?
He had three interceptions.
Was it 2?
No, it was 3. He had 3 interceptions. He had 3 interceptions toward the end
Green
of the game.
Bay.
Green Bay had.
I know he had
Wow.
one when he tried to throw the.
He was playing like it looked like a rookie quarterback out there, and I'm like, I was surprised. I'm like, Jameis Winston was on point. He was accurate. He was everything. And I'm like you said, you moved to a better coaching, I guess, is in his in.
Well,
his play.
and look, when Sean Payton went out and got Drew Brees, he was coming off of the shoulder injury, right? Surgery.
Right.
They were unknown about whether or not he even had a shoulder, so Payton knew that going in. He knew that he could throw the ball regardless. It was the deep ball question. And they basically already had game plans for all scenarios. That's what I love about Sean Payton. He has game plans that'll work with you, whatever your strengths are, and he'll get personnel to shore up the weaknesses. And when you get a guy like Jameson in there who can definitely throw the ball, what's he going to do? He's going to design routes and pass plays that gear toward your strength.
And I mean, it worked. It worked.
I mean,
And so and take a look. He didn't have. He only had. It was under 200, right? Under 200 yards
right.
total.
They what they did was minimize him throwing, and they basically ran it with Alvin Kamara or dumped it off to Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. That's.
But he had passes down the field.
No, he did. I'm just saying he did. I think he only had 20 passes.
But he was out. But I mean, in quarterback terms, I keep saying Drew Brees. Aaron Rodgers was outplayed by Jameis Winston in that whole game. He then after the game, you didn't take responsibility for you.
And how much of that was defense? I mean,
it was Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. The reason they
he had 2 keys.
So here we go.
Yeah.
My question is, we saw how Detroit came up good with some garbage points last to keep a close game, and that was a high scoring game. I think that was almost 80 points. And so when you have Detroit coming into Green Bay with a tough loss like that against San Francisco, why would you give Green Bay 13 points?
Because it's Green Bay. Because it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's.
But if he stunk it up week 1, what makes you think he's going to come back?
It's a home game, and it's
but
Green Bay
it's a division rival.
Yeah, and it's a division rival.
I don't like the 13 point spread.
And Aaron Rodgers has a record with Detroit. No matter who was there, they always win.
And right now the current line is Green Bay's favored 11.5.
Yeah,
it was at 13 yesterday.
I can actually see them doing that because Detroit's not really like you said, new quarterback coming in. It's not.
Yeah, they don't have the offensive weapons that New Orleans has, but Detroit I think does match up well with the defense.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely true.
I would definitely stay away from the point spread, but that over under at 48, I would definitely take that over.
Yeah. Because like with the Saints in the Green Bay game, Jameis Winston, he had less than 200 yards passing, but he only threw it 20 times. Mm-hmm. He had 14 out of 20, so he only have.
So it was a run heavy.
But you look at
that was more or less a confidence builder for Jameis.
But you look at 14
but he
out
had
of
5
20.
touchdowns. So
yeah, you get 5 touchdowns. I mean, you look at what I'm saying.
If you keep passing it inside the red zone into an open person, whether it's Kamara or one of your receivers,
you throwing 14.
That's
passes,
not too hard to get.
14 passes you completed, 5 of them are touchdowns. That's better than normal. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's better than normal. That's better than the old Jameis Winston.
All right. So New Orleans is going to Carolina. I like this because Carolina is a solid defense. They're a division rival. Saints are favored 3.5. I think that's definitely on par with what should be expected out of them, given what they did to Green Bay. And Carolina, they played the Jets, and I believe that was barely a win last week.
It was barely a win. But it was
against
a win.
the Jets.
Was it a barely
Chuck
win?
would say it was a win.
I thought they beat.
No, they beat the Jets.
I only know because I'm still alive in my survivor pool, and I took the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the teams we're talking about, these games, every NFL team we're talking about basically all of them, and just using a few teams as an example. This is week 2. It's time to put up and shut up. and show everybody what you're really doing. Because this is gonna you got 16 more games. This Sunday plus 15 more games. You got to start putting yourself in a position to win your division to make the playoff first.
Yep.
Sorry to cut you
Go
off.
ahead.
I wanted just to comment on the Carolina and the Saints game. I'm going to take Carolina.
You're gonna take Carolina as the
take
upset?
Carolina?
Hold on.
I would take Carolina.
Do you want the point spread or the money line? Money line's plus 150. Money line means that they have to
No,
win.
I'm just saying they're going to win.
They're gonna win?
You said Carolina.
You don't want to put money? Not even
Ladies and
$5.
gentlemen, Chuck said.
Five? No.
The only reason,
I bet for him.
the only reason, because I know, what's his name, Longshot Matt, the top corner is out
For who?
for the
Saints.
Saints.
Lattimore.
Okay, Lattimore. Okay,
He's out.
But
That doesn't mean anything.
offensively,
You take a look-
offensively, you think
Okay, but you're
Carolina
gonna need-
can keep up with
Okay,
the Saints?
okay.
Offensively.
While the Saints have Alvin Kamara, Carolina has McCaffrey. So
McCaffrey and Kamara, they
they both do the same thing. They catch out of the backfield and they run like crazy.
yeah.
No wonder
they're-
they given this game and what happened last week,
Yeah.
the over under for the New Orleans Panthers game is 44.5. I think if they go strictly run like normal,
Yeah.
and that's a battle of the running backs, that could easily be under.
True. But
That's
I
actually-
mean, but with the I would rather how do I put it? I trust Sam Darnold better throwing the ball than I do Jameis Winston. I'm not gonna lie on that one.
I don't. From what I saw from Jameis, that first game was a confidence
Right,
builder.
right.
I expect Jameis Winston to have a better game this week.
I'm not saying Jameis Winston is less talented. What I'm saying is
I understand what you're saying. You think Sam Darnold's going to have a better week this week?
right, because he has a better receiving core. He has a better line. Yes, he does. He has a better line.
Better receiver.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong team.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
I
are.
was better receiver.
All right. So
like, come
on that note, I think we
We're
should
gonna
go.
wrap this up.
We are going to wrap this up. We've been rambling too long. Any last minute things you guys want to cover before we close out?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe.
And if you are interested in joining one of our many office pools, hit us up, comment below, and I'll send you the email.
All right, people, stay half baked.
We're out.